kind of as a counterbalancing question to that, I think we all know that there is a lot of dying to self as a natural byproduct of motherhood. But at the same time, I think, we do have to be self-aware and not run ourselves so hard that we then become emptied and don't have as much of ourselves to give. So is there anything you did, to kind of recharge yourself or to take care of your own mental health?
That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked it. There are two things that come to mind, besides, of course, my, own personal time with the Lord, which would be first and foremost. There were two things that I did that I felt were really helpful along those lines. The first was I got involved in a play group when you all were very small of other young moms. We were very similar in many ways in age, and we all had young children. We were all Christians, and that was very helpful to me. I developed some great friendships there, and that also turned into a Bible study later. We had a godly lady leading us in Bible study. I still to this day think about things I learned then. So I would encourage all young mothers to seek that out. You need that. And that will also give your children an opportunity to play with other kids while you have some time to get to know other moms and get out of the house maybe one day a week or whatever your schedule allows. The other thing was I really encourage exercise. Exercise is not only good for you physically, it's good for you mentally. And I would try to take walks, and those walks were so helpful to me.
It doesn't have to be, CrossFit.
That's right.
Just taking a walk can be so helpful.
I mean, I remember when you all were really tiny, we had a fenced-in backyard, and I just walked the yard while y'all played. That was just part of the day. I was so blessed to have that fenced-in yard so that I could go around the front part of the house, which we weren't really in a dangerous area, but it worked out great. So, and I did that as you all got older. We would go to a park, and I would say, okay, you guys can play. I'm just going to walk around the park or walk this track or whatever. So I tried to do double duty, give them a playtime when I would try to get a little exercise then.
Mm-hmm. How did having children affect your marriage?
It affected it in a very positive way in that this is what we wanted, and we loved family life, and Scotty and I thoroughly enjoyed having our children all the way through. But that's not to say that it didn't hinder our couple time. And we figured out early on that we had to have some date nights. And, in an ideal situation, if you can have at least one yearly, even if it's just a weekend getaway, I highly recommend it. And here's why. Your children need you, but your spouse needs you too. And I have seen men and women give to the point that it was too much, that they left out their husband or wife, and that's not a good thing. And so we really were recharged by those date nights and those retreats, or over the past several years, even though our children are grown now, even when they were still at home, we would try to take a trip on our anniversary as often as we could. We might not have done it every year, but that was something we grew to look forward to. And to me, it was making our marriage a priority. And I really believe that's biblical. I think our marriage needs time and attention. And yes, sometimes even funding. We need to spend a little money on that because we're investing in something very precious that we don't want to lose. And so I was very blessed that we, at the time our children were small, we lived near both sets of parents and they were able to help us during those times. But if you are not in that situation, and if you are a believer, I feel confident that there is a couple, there is a family, a couple, someone in your church that would be happy to help you with your children for a night or two. And you can find someone that you trust. You know, again, I believe there are people that would be happy to assist you in some way in that. And so, you know, pray about that and seek that out, because I really think it's important.
I was talking to another mom about your age the other day, and she said, you know, for some people, even if date night seems like too much or too overwhelming for you, then you can do what she called couch time. This is something she and her husband did in the evenings, where she would sit with her husband on the couch for even 10 minutes, and their kids knew to just leave them alone for a while, and they would just talk, maybe get a cuddle in or two, and just have that time that was just for them.
I love that idea. And it's what it reminds me of is it's going to be probably a little bit different for every couple. You know, Scotty and I both like to hike. It's something we really look forward to. Maybe you and your husband have another shared activity that you like. Maybe you'd like to just do that together without your children, and that's your time to reconnect. So, like, I love that couch idea. That's really sweet. Or maybe it's just a breakfast out once a month, or you know, again, use your own judgment and imagination as to what would be good for you.